Hello, this is Dr. Charmaine Gregory, and today I wanted to talk about 3 tips that will help you to combat the loneliness that can come with social distancing. We are a race of humans that basically love to interact. I mean, that is part of who we are. And yes, there are those among us introverts. Absolutely acknowledge that. But in general, hey, Nana, thanks for joining. But in general, we like to interface with each other. We like to interact with each other, sometimes in little bits versus large bits, depending on our personality type. But that is the issue, right? Now we are sequestered. Now we are separate. Now we are socially distancing, and loneliness can creep in. And loneliness can be very potent. It can definitely affect us greatly, and it can secondarily affect our health and our ability to basically be our best selves. So thank you for joining, Jyoti. Thanks for joining, Gretchen. And so I was just reading some stuff this morning, and I literally came across an article that was written in the Washington Post. And the article was written by a young woman by the name of Ripley. First name is Amanda. And she basically starts looking at a few things. She starts looking at, well, what has been the research surrounding social, well, more so, what's the research surrounding loneliness and isolation, as well as how does that affect your mortality. And, there are some connections. Obviously, we know this. We know that there is, you can sometimes die of a broken heart when you've been married to somebody for a very long time. You've lived in the same home for a long time, and then you lose your spouse. Oftentimes, what happens is, that the remaining spouse tends not to live a lot longer because there is some interdependence, and some energy that comes from that close interaction. So we're no different, right? We are really no different. So what can we do? The first thing that we can do is we can connect with each other still. So one way in which you can do that is through technology. So right now, we are talking. There is a conversation happening. Like those of you that are joining live are talking to me, and then you can see me. For something that is more interactive, then you can use Zoom, which is a free platform for doing meetings. And you can have a teleconference or a telemeeting where you can have several individuals joining at once. So if, for example, I know someone who was supposed to have family coming into town, and because of the travel restrictions, they no longer have that ability. And so they've been corresponding and having gatherings with the family that they would have had in person, but now they're doing through teleconferencing like Zoom. Another way is through FaceTime. So if you have the ability to do FaceTime on your iPad, or if you have, use it through your phone, that's another great way, because then you can have multiple people involved and you can get that camaraderie. Absolutely. And so the other place is Google Hangouts. Google Hangouts is great as well because you can definitely, have multiple individuals on at once, and you can interact with each other. You can speak to each other. You can do things together. You can even do an activity together, which is a great way to, have a gathering and have that support. Yes, Jyoti says, Dr. Patel says that loneliness is a major cause of depression, anxiety, and it affects and has a great effect on the mortality in the elderly. Absolutely. And so the other place is, so say you don't have Zoom, say that you don't have, Apple products, so you don't have FaceTime. Hey, Belia, thanks for joining. And you don't have Google, so you can't do Google Hangouts. You can do WhatsApp. I know that for those people that are international, so like for me, I have family pretty much all over the place. I have family in New Zealand, family in Jamaica, family in England. So I have family all over. So if we're going to be congregating and we're going to do so, we can do so through WhatsApp, right? So WhatsApp allows that to happen as well. So really, we don't really have any excuses, thankfully, in this day and age when we have the technology, because if we have a cell phone, we can definitely connect with each other despite being far apart. So, virtual gatherings, some ideas for virtual gatherings on some of these platforms is maybe you want to plan a play date, right? So we were talking the other day in one of the physician groups. Actually, one of I think it was Dr. Silvesto, he did a really awesome YouTube video talking about, he's a pediatrician. He talks about, let's not have the play dates. Let's not let this time be an opportunity for us to have live play dates. Let's think about that and start doing some alternatives, right? So another way that you can have a play date with your Cherubs friends is through this media. So you can have them all get on Zoom, or you can have them all get on Google Hangouts or FaceTime or WhatsApp, and then they can do an activity together. Yes, I know it's not the same, but it is one way in which we can stay connected even in this time when we're being pulled apart. Another possibility would be to maybe do a virtual movie night, right? So maybe you might say, let's all watch this movie at the same time. We may get on at the very beginning, say, hey, we're all watching, and then get on at the end again, get together on the conferencing platform, and then share maybe our thoughts about the movie. So then you get that engagement again. So that is that's one really great way to combat loneliness during this time. Another one is through exercise. Now, exercise seems to come back in multiple different at venues and has different purposes, but really exercise is just really good for you, because what it does is it definitely increases your endorphin levels, and it will allow for you to have a little bit less stress, to be able to deal, it helps your metabolism. It helps you to deal a little bit better with the stressors that you are facing. So exercising is a great way. And so now you may be asking, well, how am I going to do that if I can't get to the gym? Well, you have the most important thing that you need in order to exercise, which is essentially you, right? Your body is all you need. And you can literally do something super simple, like doing some push-ups, every day, or maybe doing some jumping jacks, or doing very simple exercises. But if you want to have something more formal, there are several opportunities to do so without having to spend any money, or without having to go very far. Now, in the article, Amanda Ripley recommends a YouTube channel by a young woman by the name of Adrienne. She does yoga, and she does these guided yoga practices, and she offers them for free on YouTube. So that's one option. Then there is Active, which is it's an app that you can utilize that provides you with free, basically free workouts. I looked up a couple other ones. There is Strava, there's MyFitnessPal, there's Urbanite Inc. Nike has several programs that are available that are for free. There's the Daily Burn. So there are lots and lots of choices out there that you can utilize to get your exercise in. If you want to make it super fun and involve the Cherubs, then there are a ton of dance exercises that you can do. You can even just go around, and you can even get and just start doing some jumping jacks, or running around, or playing tag, or whatever, just to get the movement going and just to get your blood pumping and get your body activated so that you are better able to deal with the stress and the anxiety that comes from being distanced from other humans. And then the next tip is, hey, Cynthia, thanks for joining. The next tip is to pay it forward. Now, we are altruistic beings at heart, and we love to give of ourselves. And so what better time to be able to take our minds off of all of the craziness that's happening, take our minds off of the fact that we are not able to maybe travel to those that we typically would travel to at this time, or do the things that we typically do. What better way than to give back, to pay it forward, right? So there's some really cool projects that have happened or are happening, and perhaps you might know of some in your own neighborhood, but just think about the fact that the majority of the elder population, they really don't have the option of getting up and out and getting up, being about. The younger set really, have to curtail the occurrences of exiting the home, right? I mean, the whole point of the Flattening the Curve campaign and the Stay at Home campaign is such that, we can encourage, those amongst us to stay home if they are able to, such that we have less people interacting. And as a result, we will flatten the curve of infection, like the spread of an infection, and we will protect those that are most vulnerable among us, who are the elderly, those who have underlying diseases, particularly lung disease, heart disease, and those that are just going to be affected the most dramatically by getting an infection. So, if you are in a situation where you can maybe organize something where perhaps you might make a couple of meals or something like that, and then you may leave it on the doorstep of an elder neighbor. I mean, that's one way to pay it forward. Hey, Bethany, thanks for joining. Another way to pay it forward is maybe you can take a list, or you can find out if there's anyone in your community that's in need, and then you can maybe assess accumulating those supplies for them, and then leaving it at their doorstep. And so that will be an incredible way to pay it forward if you're in a situation where you're able to. And so there's a woman in Louisville. Her name is Erin Hinson. And what she did was she, through Twitter, basically organized within her neighborhood an exchange of deeds, right? So she got a listing. She basically created a matching database. And so she got a listing of the people in the community that were over 65 that couldn't leave their homes and needed items. Maybe they needed errands run. Maybe they needed food items. Maybe they needed some kind of goods, whatever it was that they needed. And then she matched them with other individuals in the community who are able to do these things for them. And so that's tremendous, because this is all done via technology. And of course, there's still social distancing, because, you do the thing for that person, or they would leave the item they need to be, taken wherever they need to be taken. And then that individual would do that for that individual that needed it. So it's a great exchange, a great way to pay it forward and help each other out, because it's definitely another level of isolation that our elders and our infirm are feeling, even more so than what we who are not ill, who are not infirm, experience. So if we have the ability to pay it forward in a safe manner, then we should definitely do that, because it will be greatly appreciated, and it will also help us with our innate ability and our innate desire to help other humans, connect with other humans during this time when we are practicing social distancing. So I hope that this was helpful. The 3 tips are, number one tip is to think of creative ways to do virtual gatherings. You can utilize technology to do this, and it is a great way to get connection without having to be, face to face, because right now that's challenging. I will tell you a story. My mom is, she is very much trying her very best to get involved in technology. She does an amazing job with crafting. So she makes cards. And she has a peer group of older ladies that also make cards. And so one of the ladies in the group, she has decided that she's going to start doing some workshops online. And so she'd never done this before. She wanted to give it a try because she wanted to connect with her ladies, because basically what they do is every other week they get together and they sit down and they commiserate and they make cards and they just have a great social time of support and encouragement. And so now they're not able to do that because everybody's kind of sequestered in their own homes. So this woman, she went, basically said, you know what, I don't know what I'm doing. I've never done a Facebook Live before, but I'm going to do this because I know that my ladies are really going to appreciate it. And, that was an opportunity for them to kind of get together in a virtual fashion. So she did it. And, my mom was super excited. She really didn't know how to find it. And so I went and helped her to find that. And it's just amazing, a simple thing like that they were able to have their workshop. They were able to interact with each other just using technology. And so, let's not underestimate the power of that, of even a connection that is virtual, because it can make all the difference in somebody's day that is, confined to the four walls, and, usually is somebody that's up and about and out and interacting. So virtual gatherings is the first. So getting creative with those play dates that are virtual, maybe having dance parties that are virtual, maybe having movie nights that are virtual. These are all things. The next one is exercise. So there are so many opportunities right now to get exercise programs for free online. And so really, and to be honest, all you need is you. All you need is your physical body. You can literally, if you have nothing, you can walk up and down the stairs, or you can do some push-ups or some jumping jacks, but just getting the blood moving and doing a little bit of movement can make all the difference. And then number 3 is volunteering in some way. So whether that may be that you are going to make a meal or two for your local, for a neighbor that's elderly and leave it on their doorstep so they can have that, or you're going to organize a network like Erin Hinson did. Whatever, it doesn't matter. It just matters that you do something that you feel is going to help you to pay it forward. Because I feel like any of these things are awesome. All of these things together can make amazing difference in our time that we're spent staying at home and helping to flatten the curve so that we have less of those among us who are infirmed, elderly, contracting the disease, and having a bad outcome. So thank you for watching. Thank you for everybody who joined live. Thank you for everybody who's joined in the replay. Drop that in the thing below, and then the comments below. And then let me also know what kind of great ideas you've come up with, other suggestions you have for how we can combat the loneliness that we can experience when we're social distancing. This is Dr. Charmaine Gregory, and I hope that you will be strong, be brave, and achieve your greatness.